Hey, so basically, it's happening tomorrow. We will need you on the Zoom call by 3 p.m. positively. We'll be doing a roll call. If you miss the roll call, it's very difficult for us to make the allocations which are happening through the tabby. So basically, we need you all on the call at 3 p.m. And then it's going to go like there's going to be 3 rounds. You'll be judging 3 rounds till 8:30 p.m. And obviously there's going to be breaks in between because there's prep time between rounds. And then in general, besides the prep time, there's enough break given to both the judges and the debaters. So there's no like this is not a very hectic schedule. There's no back to back rounds you have to judge, but please like remain available for the stipulated amount of time, because it becomes very difficult to go hunting for judges while we're like coordinating a lot of other things at the same time with the swings and everything. So basically, it's going to be from 3 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That's first important clarification. Secondly, it is the British parliamentary format that we're following, and the scoring range that we're going to be using is going to be the same as Oxford for those of you who judged on 24th with us. It's going to be from 67 to 83, 75 being the average score. So you either work your way up or down according to whatever you think is the quality of the speech, and 75 being your average benchmark. Besides that, what is important is the script that is attached to like the Google Docs. No, we haven't shared the Google Doc link. I think there's a PDF that's been shared. It's called format briefing or something. I'll just pin that all over again on the group. There's an ad script in it besides other things, and that ad script is essentially for you to understand what you're supposed to do once you're in the room. And it's like proper hand holding of how this session is going to has to be conducted by the judge. But why that's required is because there's a lot of people who are very very new to the format, or like forget format, they're just new to debating and like how it's done and like being in a debating room. So a lot of them are aggressive, they're very keen on winning. It's important that you moderate the room like how we want you to. So like just giving them positive reinforcements that they don't feel down and out and end up not showing up for the other rounds, but also at the same time being firm enough for them to not just go amiss with the format, the speech time, and like just take undue liberty in the room for being novice speakers. So please follow the judge script. It's very very important. It says some very basic things, but then it's important that you go through it regardless. The motions obviously are going to be released 15 minutes before the round starts. So that's when we'll be sharing the motions with you as well on the chat. When you're filling the ballots, is going to be done through your private URLs, which will be shared with you before tomorrow 2 p.m. if you were to fill the tab form on time. So another thing we need you to do timely is fill the tab form. That's extremely important for us. And what else? About equity. If you think there are any equity concerns, please call me or tag me on the WhatsApp group. This is Nitiksha. And that's my username on WhatsApp as well. So you can just tag Nitiksha Tyagi and I'll come to your room and try to fix the equity concern or take it to the equity room according to like the level of complexity of the issue. But besides that, it is also important that you do not allow any like trespassing of that kind to happen, where people are like again being rude to others and you're overlooking those things. Please try to moderate by preemptively giving the housekeeping rules and like what you expect in the room to be done while these people are with you in the room and like debating against each other. Try to create that sort of a decorum and like assert yourself in doing that without sounding too intimidating. So that's that. Now besides that, there is a Zoom background that's been shared. And again, for those of you who judged at Oxford, it's different from the one that you were using at Oxford, although the difference is very minute, so you might miss it. The Oxford logo has been replaced with the Cambridge logo, which is why it's important that you use the right Zoom background, but be on camera at all times while you're debating. That's a lab like that was a slippage that a lot of you had just ended up being a part of in your respective rooms. When I was moderating, I was able to see that a lot of the judges just were on camera when the moderators or the organizing committee was around, and then they went back to not being on camera. Please don't do it. It's very counterproductive to for us, because parents come back to us and say that, hey, the judge wasn't like credible enough. We don't even know if they were listening. They weren't even on camera, so on and so forth. We have had a lot of equity issues to resolve because of that. Just slippage from the judge's side. So please just be mindful of this. Besides that, so scoring range is done. Rounds, yeah. If they were to, okay, if participants were to seek clarification on the motion from you, please redirect them to me, Nitiksha, or the main room and say that, look, we are not at liberty to share any clarifications. Please don't be too magnanimous in giving clarifications over and above what we already tell them. And there's going to be very, very young people in this tournament. So, like, if you were there at Oxford, there were still people from the senior category. Most of the participants were ninth graders. So it was easier to like have a conversation with them and tell them about things. But then the problem here is that here we have like a lot of over enthusiastic seventh graders who it's difficult to explain things to in a short amount of time. So please redirect any like superfluous queries that they might have to me or to the main room. And if some such thing is happening in your room, please just call us, the organizing committee in the room, to resolve it instead of getting yourself into it, because we have a standard code of conduct to resolve these kinds of queries so that the tournament doesn't get delayed for like these small troubles that like you might be facing in your respective rooms. That's that. As far as disconnection policy is concerned, if somebody drops from the call, which happened quite a lot the last time, then just wait for them for 3 maximum 5 minutes if you're feeling kind and if you were running on time. And if they don't show up in 5 minutes, offer the provision of iron personing to the teammate. And if the teammate is, I mean, the teammate will do it and then mark them like how you mark iron person speeches in general. But don't wait for more than 5 minutes, please. Also, don't give more than 30 seconds in between speeches. Like there was an instance the last time at Oxford where one of the judges allowed uh, a participant to not deliver their speech for 5 minutes, or perhaps the participant wasn't responding to the judge and the judge never told us. So please tell us if a participant is not responding, they're probably trying to like buy time for themselves so that they can come up with a speech in that time, but that's not permitted. So if someone's been unresponsive for 5 minutes, then they're by default out of it. Like they can't be allowed to deliver their speech. So that's that. I think this is pretty much it. Besides that, please go through the deck that we have shared. It has all the equity guidelines in detail. It shares other important things like how to conduct yourself in the room, etc. And then the format briefing is also important because per speaker time for the speech is 5 minutes. Unlike regular BP tournaments where there's 7 minutes and 20 seconds given, we are also giving 20 seconds extra for people to complete their sentences if they're stop if the 5 minute mark hits midway, like in mid sentence. But then only 20 seconds extra. After that, you're going to have to stop the speaker or like stop taking notes. So it's 5 minutes and 20 seconds per speaker, and that's how it's going to be. The rest of the rules are the same. 15 minutes of prep times. Teams are supposed to be back after the prep time is over, and one of the devices per team, like one device per team, should be connected to the call. If it's not, please notify us. So like let's say there's 4 teams that are supposed to be in your room, you have to ensure there's 4 devices that are like logged into your room even during the prep time, so that we don't have a hard time like finding these people after the prep time is over and the tournament doesn't get delayed again. Just one more thing that I'll be sharing with you on the WhatsApp group is going to be the schedule. And the other thing is some basic rules about being on camera, having a Zoom background, using very simple language and delivering OA. Please note that nobody at this tournament has been to a BP tournament before. You can safely assume that this is their first BP tournament. They're just exploring what it means and like what it looks like. So this means that they're very nascent in the activity. So you're going to have to give very nice OAs, and by nice I mean not complex, simple, but less jargons for sure. Don't use words like weighing. Don't use words like delta and assume that they'd understand. Please say these things like weighing is important and people should understand weighing. I agree with you completely on that, but you're going to have to simplify the thing, like break it down and then deliver instead of just like name dropping things. You're supposed to just break it down and then explain what it means. And why it was important. So for weighing, you can say there had to be a comparative, or that you had to compare this to that. And by comparing, you were supposed to prove that you are better because of so and so reasons, because you don't become better without comparing yourself to somebody else, that nobody can be better in isolation, since the so yeah, you basically get the gist of it. So that's how you can simplify the otherwise jargonistic sort of vocabulary that we are used to in debating. That's pretty much it from my end. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask. Questions like, or like some apprehensions about the tournament timings, etc. Okay, if there are like no questions, I'm just going to share the recording on the group. You'll have access to this. You'll have access to the scoring range, the two decks that I've already shared, like the PDFs, and then additionally the schedule as well, which should happen by today EOD on the WhatsApp group. Thank you so much for joining in. I really appreciate you guys coming.